Hello everyone. Today I'm going to show you a couple of my older villages, and the reason why I'm showing them is because I want to point out some mistakes that you shouldn't make when upgrading a village, but also some ways that you can experiment with the spaces that you're given. In this village, you can see it's exceptionally sprawling. It starts here on the mountain and goes down the mountain and extends all the way out to the water. And that's an awful lot of space to defend. It's all of this fencing is to not keep out mobs, but to keep your villagers within the village. Otherwise, they'll walk around and they will get attacked by mobs or not make their way back to the village. So this fencing is to keep them in more than to keep mobs out. You can see that I've used the berries to keep out the mobs as a deterrent. I planted it here to keep the mobs out. And again, the fencing mostly to keep the villagers in. And let's go take a look at the rest of the village. Again, fencing to keep your villagers from falling over the cliffs and dying or disappearing from the village. There's one of my dogs, wolves, and llamas with storage chests, smokers, furnaces. This was the original place where I started everything and I moved outwards as time went on. I've put more beds in each of the huts. And you see this glass, what I've done here is there was a chasm in the village, and the villagers were always at risk of falling in this hole. So what I did was I put glass over it so that they can't fall in, but they could be welcome to go inside and sleep and have their professions. And you can see there's a separate floor of glass underneath because that is the rest of the chasm. It was deeper. So I glassed it off also and made a separate place for more beds. Currently, not all of the villagers go in, maybe only 2 out of all of the beds and sleeping space that I provided, but it's okay. Here you can see that I was using all of this grass and I thought it was a great idea at the time, but really it's poor execution on my part because you can see I've got all of this grass being used for crops, but when it comes time to harvest the crops, it's a pain in the ass. And you really don't want to have to be running off in 10 different directions to harvest all of your crops. Had I been experienced and smart at the time, I would have filled in this lake in vertical lines of grass and farmed the water area completely. But as you can see, I didn't do that. I wasn't thinking very well at the time, and I executed it very poorly. So don't do that. You can see here, I did it later when I was running out of space. So I went along the shore, which is not bad, but I should have extended it lengthwise out that way because you can see there's a greater expanse of water that's unused. And I could have turned that all into farming territory. And so this area is good for farming. It's pretty compact. It's all in a straight line right there. But you can see I curved with the shoreline here, and that makes for inefficient harvesting when it comes time to get all of your crops together. I did manage to plant more berries over here to keep the mobs out. You can see this ugly little building of smooth stone. And yes, those are bookshelves because, well, I'm not a very good designer. Inside, the planning is poor with the beds, not good. Just overall, you can see that this was one of my very early efforts and not a very good one. I've even used this barn space as a sleep area, and you can see that there's not a smoker or a furnace, but gosh, I can't remember, a blast furnace there. What else? Let's see how this particular village is great for the purpose of livestock farming. What I've done here is used a carved out space. Again, it was a danger to the villagers, so I had to fence it off. The villagers would go into these caves and get trapped in the water or not be able to get themselves out. What I've used it for is a chicken farm. So you can see whenever I need meat to eat, or eggs to spawn more chickens, or feathers to make more arrows, this is where I go. And of course you can make more chickens by feeding them seeds and they will breed. And you get plenty of seeds as a byproduct of harvesting the wheat, or even the pumpkins and the watermelon. And over here, instead of creating an animal pen using fencing, what I've done is I've excavated out into the earth so that you don't have to waste resources. You don't have to chop down trees and turn it into planks and then into gates. What you can do is just dig out an area, preferably with grass at the bottom so they can feed, and then lure them in using wheat, and they'll follow you and they'll fall right in. And then you proceed to feed them with wheat, and you build yourself a nice little livestock pen. And you can see that there's cows and there's gray and black sheep. And unfortunately, I never did get that donkey out. The donkey's stuck in there, one of my favorite donkeys. But yeah, you can see this is a fairly safe village. I've never had a mob get inside, but I have not tested it with pillagers, so that's going to be the test, and I suspect they'll spawn inside the village, so I don't really want to do it at this time. So let's take a run and see where I went from here. And this was in the very beginning, was when I was less sure about myself and how to survive in the wild. So what I would do is I would take short ventures away from the village and explore a little bit at a time. But because I was chicken, I didn't want to stray too far. So what I would do is I would create little outposts. And I've done this from my very first early days of playing Minecraft. And I had an excess of copper, so I always built on the highest spot in the area so I could get a good view above. And so if I needed to, I could sleep and restock myself. So let's take a look at that. Nothing very great. Some wool for additional beds in case I ever found a place where I needed to make more beds. Some arrows in case I got stuck in battle without any and I could make it to this shelter and rearm myself. So as you can see, dusk is falling and it's gonna not be safe out here for me. So I'm trying to run as fast as I can. You can probably make it out there at the top of that next hill. My next outpost. Yeah, they're ugly, but they do the job. They keep you safe and give you a place to sleep so you're not attacked by mobs. And you don't have to worry about getting attacked by phantoms while you're exploring because you can sleep at night. So speaking of which, you saw my diamond armored horse here. Let's sleep for the night and then get on our way to the next village. So the sun is rising. We'll follow the sun. time, I was feeling pretty accomplished with myself because I was venturing out pretty far away from the safety net of my village. So I was really happy with my progress at the time. I was a little nervous that I wouldn't find another village and that I would end up stranded out here, because I had had such a terrible time finding other villages in the past. I thought that was going to happen again. So you can see I built the ugly little copper structure out here in the middle of nowhere. It's well stocked with planks and more wool in case I need to make more beds. And I must have done quite a bit of exploring from this location, because I have some TNT, which means I killed a bunch of creepers. And I must have spent enough time here to do some gathering. So again, I tried to pick the tallest hill, so let's survey the land and see what we've got. Let's take a look with our telescope. So this is what I saw at the time. Nothing, no villages, no goals, no objectives out here. There's a boat of mine. Wonder what I was doing over there. Not one of the more attractive looking biomes in Minecraft, if you ask me. But let's keep running. Hopefully we'll come across my second village. I must have had some seeds in my pocket, because you can see I planted wheat over there. I always try to plant wheat as a visual marker for myself. And look what I found. As I continued this way, you could see I was very happy to see this structure jutting up out of the horizon, because that meant that I had found myself another village. So let's go take a look. That poor guy has been in some battles, it looks like, so let's try to heal him up a little with the little iron I've got in my pocket. Not much good. He's still pretty beat up. He won't last long out here. So let's see. I don't know that I have a gate here. Yeah, I don't have a gate. Put that on my checklist of things to do. Make a gate for easy exterior access. Well, we can't go that way. So again, another reason why we put up the wood fencing is to protect the villagers. As you can see, if they had left the village this way, they're looking at a steep fall down that cliff. And we don't want to lose villagers like that. So you can see there's a lot of animals down there, chickens that have fallen down there. We don't mind. And you're probably getting an idea of how sprawling this village is. It's ridiculous. So here's the main entrance, stairway up into this, surprise, negative space capped by glass. Where did we see that at? In our previous village, right? Making use of these caves, I hollowed them out, put tons of beds down here for the villagers. And again, glass enclosure to make useful the negative space and safe for the villagers so that they don't fall in the caves anymore. This was an unusual idea that I tried out for the first time. Not very great. It's a see-through underground pen where I can watch the progress of the animals and I can feed them from this trap door. And there's another one over here for sheep. I can feed them meat and have them breed underground. So let's get a better vantage point and see what this village looks like. This is my own doing. That's where I create my lab, my enchanting table. So you can see this village goes from that end all the way over here. And Minecraft has updated it to make these villages so sprawling that it's impractical to try to defend them. Here's the first legit building that included with the village, out to that point and over to that area. So if I was to initiate a raid by pillagers, I'd have to defend that entire space, and the fences aren't going to keep them out because they'll spawn inside the village. So let's take a look at this mistake that I made over here. I was trying to use all of this space inside the village, and what I ended up doing was creating a crop monstrosity that can't easily be farmed. This area is nice and compact, no problem, but planting on a hillside was not the best idea because it's a pain in the ass and it's not very practical. It takes you more time and effort to farm this area than what you get from it. So here is when I finally got smart. I made a very nice orderly area that's easy to farm. But this was just ridiculous and I didn't need to do this silliness right here. Yes, it yields a good amount of crops, but yielding a good amount of crops in a long, lengthy day of harvesting those crops is not worth the effort. If I had the chance to do it over, I'd get a bunch of earth and just level the landscape and farm it out that way. There you can see some traps that I've dug for mobs that want to come up this hill. I've only successfully trapped animals and livestock, which is okay, because the villagers are safe and not under attack. You probably saw that little cube of obsidian there. It is a portal, and it's the remnants of a portal, of course. And I always meant to make another portal so I could visit the Nether, but I didn't do it. I wasn't confident enough at the time to think that I could survive and explore the Nether, but I know that I can do it now. So anyway, you can see how massive these villages have become, how indefensible they are, and from my videos you can see how not to develop them. People can do much better with the space that I was given, and hopefully I have improved my planning and execution of these communities since I discovered this one. But thanks for watching. The next time I will go live on Twitch, and I will probably not make more YouTube videos for a few weeks, but I will game on Twitch. Thanks for watching.